its own weight of knowledge and wisdom. So I'm going to invite Reverend Professor A. Akpabio, an electrical engineer, professor of theology, international speaker, author of many books, licensed marriage counselor, and a great leader in the society. And Professor Akpabio is going to be sharing with us again on leadership style for business, because it's very important that we get all things right. And like I said, all the speakers can be speaking on the same topic, but they have their unique way of sharing their wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and many years of experience. And that is why it is so easy, because all of us are leaders. It's so easy for us, and it is very important for us to learn. Yes, like I said, he's a professor of theology and biblical studies, fellow Association of Christian Theologians FACTS, fellow College of Chaplaincy and Pharmacology Nigeria FCCP, and Professor Akpabio is the chairman and National Executive Council Association of Christian Theologians. He is the provost of Word Harvest Bible College and Seminary at Calabar, Nigeria. He is the general overseer of Kingdom Builder Ministry and the president and visionary of Ministerial Consultancy Network. Professor Akpabio is also a licensed marriage counselor and teacher on marital issues. He's the head of administration for World Organization of Ambassadors, African Chancellery, WOA. Professor Akpabio is also an international and continental speaker in conferences and seminars, which after this is section now, he will be going as well to another conference to deliver his speech. He is a member of Bible Research Institute, MBRI, theological scholar and book writer. He's a child of God and a minister of the gospel who is called to teach, to preach, and take people to their God's destined destiny, and be a privileged and accepted speaker of Y.Y.C.I International, and also our grand patron of Y.Y.C.I International. So permit me now to welcome quickly Reverend Professor Anefiok Akpabio from Nigeria. You are welcome, sir. And thank you so much for giving us your time this morning. I know you need to move on, but we still want to learn from your wealth of wisdom. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be here again with all of you. I appreciate all the teachings and all the sharing. And I know that we'll never go the same, because we achieve a lot of things to build ourselves on. Thank you, my queen, for choosing people to speak on the same thing, but in different dimension, because at least that makes it sound the way it should be. What the other person forget, the other one will make it. I remember when God decided to tell Elijah to anoint Jehu, anoint Elisha, and anoint Hazael. He said, he that fell from the sword of this, the other one will catch. So that wisdom is good. I want to thank God for all of you as we share together. Coming to my topic, leadership style for business, I look at three major things. Number one, the leader himself. Like somebody have just asked about a leader and a true leader. I love that word, true leader and leader. The leader himself, the leading activity, and the lay. Then the style that he can use to fulfill these issues are the things that is what I will look at. especially somebody can be well, but he doesn't know the right style to use. So today I will speak from leadership perspective and from pastoral perspective, so we can understand the little contribution I have to make. First of all, we know when we talk about leadership in business or leadership style in business, the first thing that comes to the mind is, what is business or entrepreneurship, or the issue of what we gain or what we have as wealth creation. I look at business. When Jesus was talking in Luke chapter 2, verse 49, he said, I must be about my Father's business. So the business may not be business for money. The business may be a business of building a people to achieve a purpose. So I look at business as, number one, a usual commercial activity engaged as a means of livelihood. A usual commercial activity engaged as a means of livelihood. That's where business will now talk about money making. We look at business also as an immediate task or a mission. That's the one Jesus was emphasizing. I must be about my Father's business. I must be about the tasks that have been given to me. I must be about the mission. And when we look at that, we can look at what are the styles he can use in order to perform this. I see also business as a particular field of endeavor. It can become business, a particular field of endeavor, selling, training, teaching, like what we are doing business. And what are the styles that we can use in order to perfect what we are saying? And I see also business as a serious activity that requires time and effort. A serious activity that determines time or demands time and effort, which calls for avoidance of distraction. So we can see that business has a focus. And some of the things that can talk about or disturb is distraction, disinterest, discomfort, and all the 4Ds that we know about life relationship. And I could look at business also as a specific task with which a person or group is charged with. Like now, we have a business to help the youth to bring ourselves to what it is a task that must be done. And I could say, finally, in the aspect of describing or doing the issue of business, I can say it is a professional activity. That's not making it professional. A professional activity or one dealing for commercial interest. A professional activity for commercial interest. When it calls for profession, it means there are going to be rules and regulations. It means there must be an issue of handling it properly and well. It means there must be an aspect of we understanding what we are doing. So that is the issue of what we are talking about, business. So if I am speaking as I'm speaking on leadership style for business, then we must come to understand what are the styles of which we can fulfill what I'm talking here about. As for leadership, we know that leadership simply means the office or position of a leader who has the capacity to lead. Like that question asks, is it a true leader? The quality of a true leader. I would say in one of my books that are written about the church, the worth, the growth, and sustenance, about whom you can say as a leader. Not everybody is a true leader. Some are assumed leaders. Some are compensated leaders. Because they have been there, they compensate them by giving them the position. They cannot offer anything. Some are just a monumental leaders, only to be there in order to show first. But the actual activity is not actually done. So we see that leadership is the art of leading or the capacity to guide an action of a group. A capacity. There must be a capacity in a leader to be able to lead and carry the activity along. Those are one of the things that makes a leader what a leader should be. And because we've talked about leader and a leader, I will not go much into that because we have really been told about what a leader is and who a leader is supposed to be. Leadership to me, as I talk to leaders, leadership means a lot of things to a lot of people. Some people say it means boring, a situation that demands patience. Some say it is too much of involvement. Some talk a lot of things about it. But let's go into the reality of what it is. Number one, the leader himself. I want to say if we must understand the issue of leadership, then the leader himself must actually get to know that one thing is that leadership is both an art and also a sign. Leadership is both an art and sign. An art by working out the leadership. By science, I talk about the knowledge, the ability, what you possess that makes you a leader. And from there, we will see, like as I said in this book on the church, our worth, growth, and sustenance. I mentioned here that there are qualities of a successful leader. And if a leader is to lead a people to achieve a purpose, I believe some of these qualities should be looked into as we are going to go to others. Number one, the leader must be a man with a shepherd heart. That's one of the quality. And that's what makes a leader a true leader. Leading people is not a small thing. One can lead the animal, lead goats, lead cow, but to lead men who have their intellect, who have their decision, who have their primacy becomes important that one should know. So you should be a man with a shepherd's heart. If you cannot lead the sheep, you cannot lead the people. That's why Jesus looked at people as sheep, as lamb. He said to Peter, feed my lamb, feed my sheep. The lamb are the other small ones, the upgrowing people. The sheep are those who are mature a little. All we have to do is to lead. He needs a shepherd's heart. Number two, a leader must be a man with a driving concern to see growth and people won for Christ. A leader must have a driving concern. If you don't have a driving concern, you will not be able to lead the people because there are sometimes leadership bring insult. You may want to lead the people in a proper way. They look at it as stamping upon their toes, feeling upon their toes, and therefore they may react. So you must be a man with a driving interest, a driving concern. You must not allow those things to bother you because you know where you're going. We see also that a leader must be a man with a burning desire to see the church grow, to see the work done, to see the business successful, a driving control. In every aspect, when the leader himself is not having a drive to achieve, he will not motivate the other people to do so. We see a leader must be a man who has a concrete understanding of what he is doing. If you are called to lead the youth, if we are to lead the people, if we are to lead the business, what are we really looking at? Except he has the real knowledge of what he's doing, he will take the people to a wrong way. You can't expect to lead a people by the way you talk in the family or you cook in the house. There must be an aspect of having a real understanding of what is on ground. I must be about my father's business. He knew what he was talking about. And so he must do that. And when you go to Proverbs chapter 22, verse 29, the Bible says, "See thou a man diligent in his business. He shall speak with kings. He will not speak with mean men." And you cannot be diligent in business until you understand the intricacies, the things that are needed, and even the psychology of humanity, so you can know how you are leading the people. He must be a man, one who sees the need of dependency on prayers and the power of the Spirit. Because when you lead people, they are temperament that disturb them. And for that reason, you must be able to read the people, know what is expected of them, and know what we need to talk. One of us have been talking about creative thinking and also all the thinking aspect of it. That we must look at it. How do we see leadership or what to be? Let me go into the real thing. There are about 20 qualities of a successful leader. But when we come into what is on ground now, I look at it that if the leader does not understand that leadership is an art, which is for action, which is for duty, and also a science, which is for knowledge, and bring out what we have studied, he may not be able to make it. I say here that it is an art because it is a function, sometimes that need interpretation to the people. And art is something we work out, we get ourselves involved. And when it is a science, it develops a concept, a value concept or principle that we can make it. So if one is to be a leader that want to have a style for the people, there must be an issue of understanding and developing the concept. What is the concept of business? What is the goal of business? How can we achieve what we are looking for? Because when the leaders fail, the whole thing has failed. The Bible says, "Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will run away." So the leader is important. I want all of us who are leaders to know that you are important to the success or the failure of what we are doing. So we now come to say, in the aspect of science, I decided to bring three major things here for us to understand. Number one is, if you are to develop the future leaders, the leader must understand this, that there are 4 people that you are working with and 4 people you want to achieve your purpose or your goal. Because when we come to style, when you know what you are doing, you can apply any style to work. Number one, there are people we call the VIPs, who are the very important people. Those are the current leaders you have on ground. They are very important. Don't joke with them. They can frustrate your work. We call them the VIP in leadership, the current leaders. Number 2, we have the VTP, and those are the very teachable people. You can look at the youth, you can look at the people. There are some people who are teachable, but they are not leaders. And whenever you tell them anything, they will want to do it. They are teachable, the VTP. And these are the people who are the current people, they remain there as the future leaders. Do you spot these ones out? If you spot these ones out, you can invest in them and you know they are going to make it. You cannot force a man who is not teachable to listen to you. A lot of people are not ready to get instructions. But if you can recognize the TP or the VTPs, those who are teachable, you prepare them. And these are the ones we in this body and in this YYCI International should begin to look at. As we talk to them, as we listen to them, we realize, are they teachable? These are the people you can impart what you should impart. The other group of people, among the people we are leading, are the TNP. TNP are very nice people. They are very nice, but they don't have anything in the upstairs for leadership. They are very nice. They may give you work, but give them the work to do, they fail. They are very nice. And those are the people who are stable and supportive. If you see them, you can bring them up. You can bring them in the styles we are going to say here, that you know that these people are supportive, these people are stable. You study them, you understand them, then you can impart some things into them for what they are. And the last one among the people you must know as a leader, so that you know the level of your training and which style you are to apply. I call them the VDP. And that is very draining people. They are there to drain you. They are there to bring problems to you. They have a lot of long-term problems in them. Now, when you hand over the work, you say, you know, I have this problem. I have every time they will have a problem, but they can be able to lead. But their problem is not allowing them to lead. To such a people, if you waste time to produce those ones, you will fail woefully. You have to look at this for, understand where each person can show. If it is the VDP, very draining people, You know they will drain your interest, they will confuse you, they will tell you it is not possible. Then you leave them apart, let them continue to remain there and drain themselves, not to drain you and the objection that or the objective that you have. That is one aspect that we need to know, the type of people you are working with. The next thing that you need to look at is in building up leaders in the church or in business or whatever you do. We have said all the time that leadership or servant leadership is a model. Servant leadership is a model. Because as you do that, you are not going to do that as Lord. You are going to do that as part. It's a tool for delegation. And I could say, you find the people, you set them in force, you believe in them, you rebuke them, and you care for them. But there is one thing as a leader for over 52 years now. There is one thing I have learned, that sometimes we take people to lead, and we ourselves who are in this platform and who are hearing me, it might be you don't even understand what we call human primacy. It is very, very important. Human primacy must come into the issue of leading. And what I mean by that is the word primacy. We know it is what people value, what people take as important to them. You can take somebody to lead, but that's not the important area of his life. Why some people are given responsibility and they fail is because the leader did not know whether he falls into the human primacy of importance or the human primacy of order. When you don't understand this, you give people a duty and they fail. When anybody fails, given responsibility, you as a leader is to be blamed. So I would say that by the time we want to look at the issue of which style do we use, we should understand the issue of human primacy. Here I mentioned something like this, that there are two types of primacy. Number one is called the primacy of order. Those ones are building on this is what they told me to do. This is how I'm doing. I'm going according to the order. I'm going about this. And when we talk about this primacy of order, it has to do with the mind, what they think about, how they can do, the primacy of the mind. They can have Jesus, know about Jesus, but they don't make it to be a part of their life. You can give them the business and they take it as a leader wanting to do that business, but they don't have the importance. They don't think about what we are talking about. What they only do is, if I can go, I go on. If I don't go, it's not a problem. So you must detect who is one that is acting with the primacy of order. There's what we call also primacy of importance, which is a primacy that has to do with their hearts. That is when somebody is really settled. So let me make it more meaningful what we are saying. With the primacy of order, it affects only the mind. And this person have a lucid understanding of things about God without the heart burning for him. Somebody might have an idea of what you are saying, but he does not have a burden of concern for that work. And so that is a man that he can talk about the theory, the theoretical perspective of leadership. He can tell you he will deliver, he will deliver, he will deliver. It's all about the mind. He has not come into his heart to see how he can do that better. So the primacy of order is a mere primacy that many of the people we give to lead. They want promotion, they want anything, they want one thing or the other. What can benefit them without actually paying the price that can make it? But there is the primacy of importance, which I say it has to do with the heart. And what do I talk about the primacy of importance? That is when we look at that which gives one the understanding of God, the capacity from the heart, because he has an increased understanding of God and the work. Let us know this. Nobody can actually do the things in business, in entrepreneurship, in job work creation without having God's intellectual or convictions or consciousness in him. We are having a world with no conscience again. They don't feel that God is there. If we are to raise leaders in this platform and bring this youth to be what they should be. We should look at, do they have the mind of God? Do they know the things about God? Do they have a burning desire for God? So that even if they be in the position we want them to be, they will not misuse that position. Look at what is happening in politics and other areas. People don't have conscience again. So when we talk about primacy of importance, it's now talking about how the person value God, value the work, have the interests of the people at heart, and how we can lead the people to know what they are to do. This primacy is a primacy that can really help. And when you find people having and falling under this primacy, you see you are developing people who will last long as far as the ministry is concerned. Today, people want to lead without actually wanting to pay the price. They want to lead without even having the consciousness of God. Nothing makes a man to fear and begin to help one or the other person except the knowledge of God. What is going to happen for me in the time to come? Because all is not finished here. So when we understand this as leaders ourselves, then it will now help you to know how you build the work you are going to build. So let's look at those things and let's be sure in our choice, in our houses, even in the children we have. I tell parents, make sure you understand who among your children are those who have the primacy of interest or of order, and those who have the primacy of importance. The primacy of my mother told me not to do this, my father told me not to do this, the other one told me not to do this. Not because I'm convicted that what I'm doing is not correct. When we have that, that is actually getting us to where we should be. Now I come to the notable leadership styles in business, because we are coming now to lead. And when we talk about, we share other words that can really build us up, because I'm a builder of life. And I feel that we need to know the thing that we need to know, psychological, humanly, every aspect, and base of all, theological. In the aspect of notable leadership styles, we have number one, the one we call coaching. Coaching leadership style. And by coaching, I mean this is motivational, supportive, and relationship building. The coaching leadership style is motivational, is supportive, and is relationship building. As a coach, the leader must understand, I must motivate these people. And as I motivate them, what do I do again? I support them. And when I support them, I build relationship. When such a thing is done as the first style of leadership, you see, it will help them to have confidence in you and to run down to you again. You see, sometimes a leader raises people, and even if they have problems, they don't go back to the leader because they know he doesn't have anything to offer. But when you are able to lead the people, to support them, and then to coach them, you know when they are weak and when they should not, they should be changed in the field, and when they should not be changed, you read to know, understand. So you know one thing about it is that the leader himself must actually know what he's doing. The second notable leadership style is what we call the visionary. Visionary leadership style. In this leadership style, I said, it is inspirational with a big picture thinking. When you look at the visionary leadership style, it's always inspirational with a big picture. You know what you are aiming at. You hear, this man have written one book called Purpose Driven Church. Except you are driven by purpose, except you know as a leader that this thing I'm doing, there's something carrying me, bothering me. That's what Jesus said. I must be about my Father's business. He has a vision. He had a dream. Martin Luther tells us, I have a dream that one day in this generation, before, even if I'm not there, my 4 little children shall not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. And what was he looking at? He foresaw that if he deals with the character of humanity, nobody can run away from character. They cannot look, they may not want to look at your color, But when they look at your character, they know you can deliver. So this is visionary leadership style, which we must also look at it. When do we apply it and when don't we apply it? The third leadership style is the one we normally talk about, servant leadership style. Most of the time, many leaders seem to be boss. A leader is not a boss. I tell my people sometimes, if I want to pack chairs from the church and then put outside or whatever, I may not even do announcement. I will only pick one chair and go out of the house. And when they see me carrying one chair, everybody will go and carry all the chair and remove it. And that is leading and telling them this is what is expected to be done. When you come to servant leadership, you don't talk too much, but you act more. And the people will see like, no, that you are a leader, but you want to show them servanthood. That's the picture Jesus showed when he washed the disciples' feet. I always ask a question. Why did that thing happen almost at the 13th chapter of the book of John? He decided to do that almost at the end of the ministry. The greatest quality, the greatest thing a leader can think about is a lesson of humility and simplicity. Because when you are humble and take yourself as a leader, people will learn. By the time he finished, he said, I've taught you a lesson that you should learn. So that is also another leadership style. I do it for them to see and they follow. And what I do is what they do. I remember in battle, when Jonathan went to battle with an armor bearer, he told the armor bearer, what you see me do, do it. When Joshua had a battle, he told the people, what you see me do, do it. And Jesus told the disciples here, he said, what I have done, follow and do the same thing. That is another style of leadership that can actually motivate the people, and they can always come back to you because they feel, since you can do it and show us the example, we can run back to you. Are you a leader that people can come and consult? Are you a leader that people can come and say, no, I saw you do it, teach me how you do it? That will not reduce you at all. Because servant leadership, I see it as the clear presentation of Philippi chapter 2 from verse 5. The Bible said, though Jesus was God, he thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but he made himself of no reputation. He took upon him the form of a servant. He became like man. He humbled himself. And it was for this reason that he was able to raise a people up. The proud Paul, the proud other people can come down and flow because he did that. So that is another style that is very convincing. I said the leadership style, this is empowering and supportive. You empower others, you support them. Let them know that this thing you can also do, not because you are punishing them. Then the fourth leadership style that we look at is autocratic, which sometimes some people feel autocratic is not good. Sometimes all these ones have their particular and peculiar time that you can apply. Autocratic leadership, this is a decisive and authoritarian leadership. When you know that people have no decision to make, you call for suggestion, nobody is suggesting. Then you stand your ground to make a decision. This is what is to be done. And then you know people will flow and carry on. There is also what we call the laissez-faire leadership style. You know, when we talk about laissez-faire, we are talking about it doesn't matter, it doesn't worry, don't worry. As such, there are times you allow that to happen. You may not seem to box your mind about a lot of things. You take it easy and flow what you want to gain. The laissez-faire aspect is the handoff, relax and trusting time. You relax a little, give them chance to make mistakes so that you can correct them. Do you know when Jesus sent the disciples to go and preach? The Bible said when they went and preached, they came back reporting. There must be a reporting, not only a sending. A leader must also have their mind that they should come and report. Today, some people don't want to report. They only want to do. They came back to Jesus. They say, at your name, demons are bound. He said, no, it's good. Oh, but one thing is don't rejoice because those demons are bound, but rejoice because your names are written in the book of life. That was in a laissez-faire aspect. You allow them to do the work, but you make sure they don't take you out of what your focus is. When Jesus was minded to go to Jerusalem, When Paul was minded to go to Jerusalem and all those ones, you realize people begin to talk and tell them, don't go like Paul. When Agapos came and carried the thing and tied it, if they were crying, he said, no, I must go there. You must not allow, when you give them freedom to do it, you lose yourself and then go into their self-pity. After that is what we call the democratic leadership style. The democratic leadership style is a collaboratory, fair, and trustworthy style. By democracy, my greatest problem today is that many a time people who are in politics don't know the real meaning of democracy. We say government of the people, for the people, and by the people, but they don't allow the people. It is government of the special, for the special, to the special, which is not democracy. And if leadership is to be done, we must actually come to a situation that we look at democratic leadership style, where we do collaboration, where we make fair and trustworthy activity. One of the things about a leader is people must trust you. If they don't trust you, they cannot give themselves to you. If they don't trust you, they cannot do the work. They want to frustrate you. After this call, what we call the pace-setting leadership style. You know, when we say the space, a pace-setting leadership style. This is fast, and results-oriented. You give them space. You tell them what to do. You supervise, and you come to see the development of what they can do. I remember when I came into this program, I saw how the Queen was calling some young people, come and talk, come and talk, come and talk. Today, they are experts. Today, they are getting involved. He gave them that space and make them to continue. If we must succeed, there must be that aspect. But one thing about leadership, when somebody attains a position, he doesn't want to leave that position. If somebody is something he will not want, he wants to stay there forever and ever, forgetting that age, knowledge, everything may make you not to be there. So if we are leaders, there must be that issue of persistence. We allow. And I have come to see things are by stages. The work we are able to do today, tomorrow we may not be able to do. But if we did not raise a people that when we are not there, they take over. And these people also raise a people that when they are not there, they take over. We see a draft in whatever happened. Therefore, we must look at that. Another one is transactional leadership style. By transactional, I mean it is innovative, collaborative, and strong delegation, because we are doing transaction. Transaction has to do with what is the aim of the thing, what is going to be the interest, what is going to be the gain, what is going to be that. If there are some transactions that lead us into jail, there are transactions that can really help us to go the way it should be. Therefore, that transactional leadership style is also a thing, because it will be collaborative. Everybody will want to do a work. You give them work. This is the end of it. And you can compensate, because it's transactional, motivating them to be what they are. You can compensate. You can say something. You can give them certificate. Oh, you have done well, to motivate others in order that can work. Apart from transactional or transformation or transactional, there's this transformational leadership. Transactional leadership, sorry, I mentioned the other one. Transactional leadership is, it gives people, it's a give and take. Maintenance over growth is a give and take. But transformational leadership, which this body is actually out for, transformation, changing of the mind, is a leadership of innovation, collaborative, and strong delegation. We want actually to transform them. We want to bring a new world into today. If we cannot see tomorrow from today, we will never do any leadership the way it ought to be. And from there, we have what we call the bureaucratic leadership. Bureaucratic leadership style is the one that is by book and very authoritative. It is only what has been written. If the president is not here, nobody should touch anything. If the secretary has not come, nobody should do this. If I'm not there, nobody should pray, nobody should open. Those are the what we call the bureaucracy. It does not help. It is only in a place that we know that we've gotten the leaders who can do the work, that we can actually handle and stand on the issue of bureaucratic work. And so I can come to say here, by way of explanation, the leader may decide to engage himself in all this, whether it is leadership or coaching style, I have put what the leader is expected to be done, but because of the timing, I may not go into that. If you are having a visionary style, how do you go about it? What do you do with it? And how do you mention in order to have yourself working? I come to the characteristics of a good leader, because you can have all the styles, but the characteristic, the character of your life, the things you do is not making the people to flow with you. I would say the number one issue is decisiveness. There must be a decision. You should be decisive yourself. A situation, I know what I'm doing, and I decide to become. That's ability to make decisions. And not only that, particularly when under pressure. Where leaders fail is when they decide in pressure. And if you are not decisive to get what you want to have, when you are in pressure, you promise anything, and by the time they get what you want and what they want, they will flow you. Therefore, a leader must not be intimidated by the people to take any decision. That's why that is the number one characteristics of a good leader: decisiveness. Be able to make a decision and be particular without pressure, even under pressure. You say, this is where I stand. This is what I'm saying. Even in our home, every one of us as a mother or a father, we are leaders. And if we are leaders, there must be an aspect of knowing what is the characteristics. Number two is trustworthiness. If nobody trusts you, they will not come under your leadership. Therefore, trustworthiness is another characteristic of a leader. No matter the style that you use, if you have a question mark, and if the people cannot believe in you, they will actually say, I won't flow. Are we trustworthy? Like even those of us who have been speaking in this way, are we trustworthy? A trustworthy person is somebody you can rely upon and relax. You remember when the disciple had a problem in the sea, and they said Jesus was sleeping. Who knows whether he was really sleeping or he wanted actually to see their faith. And by the time the storm was going on, pulling them, they went to Jesus. Mark said, carest thou not that we perish? Luke said, Lord, save us, we perish. They said different things, but all they had, it was that Jesus was trustworthy, that he would, when he wake up, something will be done. Master, we perish. That's what Luke said. Master, we perish. And he woke up and said, peace be still. You must be trustworthy if people are going to follow us. The next thing is clear communication. A leader that cannot clearly communicate may not actually get what he wants. People want to hear. We know in communication, there are three things in communication: speaking, listening, but the issue is understanding. You can speak and somebody's listening, you say, I don't understand. Because you have communication, somebody's speaking, somebody's listening. But what is the problem there is, do this person listening understand what you are saying? So there must be a clear communication between the leader and the people. When the communication link is cut off, there must be a problem. What brings war is the absence of communication. What brings a partners having problem in the family is the issue of communication. What makes the people that we are leading not listening to us is the issue of communication. And after that, we look about empowerment of others. That's another characteristic of a good leader. You empower somebody. There are some situations of some leaders who want to stay there, relevant. But let me tell you, age and other things will make you irrelevant tomorrow. The man relevant today will become relevant in the next 20 years to come. Because the actual thing that we are seeing about technology coming up is going to render most of us up the air, except we join the next round. So there must be an aspect of empowerment of others. And that's the characteristics of a good leader. The next thing, number 5, is resilience. You must not run away in the battlefield. We must decide to stay. In this school, in World Harvest Bible College and Seminary, that sometimes we reward resilience. This person started school, he could not make it, he drop, he continue, maybe by school fee, maybe by problem, they continue to do like that. At the end, they come to complain. It might even take 10 years. It might even take, we say, because you've done it, we give you a certificate of residence. We acknowledge. Therefore, if a leader you see somebody who fails and wake up, the thing you can do is resilient. It's a characteristic that when you have that, you can pay back, you can encourage, continue, go on, move on. Jesus could have done Peter when he told Peter, walk. He saw Jesus. He said, if you are the man, tell me to walk on the sea. And Peter started walking, and he looked down, and Jesus could say, okay, drown there since you wanted to do that. But he brought him up. We need to do that. It's a characteristic that a man who was almost drowning, coming to be alive again, will never forget you. And those are the 5 major characteristics of a good leader. Now I come to the 6th C of leadership. The 6th C of leadership. So that we can really know, as my time is almost going on, we can actually know exactly what it is. The first C is culture. As far as leadership is concerned, there must be an aspect of looking at the culture. This business, what is the culture, the environmental effects of this business, of what we are going to do? This business we are talking about, this entrepreneurship, this job creation or wealth creation, where am I placing it? Will the culture permit? Will the atmosphere permit? The people that are going there, will the weather be okay for them or not? Those things must come into consideration. The second thing there is, the next C is communication. I still emphasize that leadership is more of communication than authority. If we communicate well, we will see it well. Jesus sometimes will call the disciples. There's one book a man wrote. He said, The Secret School of Jesus. People question him. And he said, no, that there are certain things Jesus will not say to the pew. But when he go, he gather the disciples and tell them, to them, I talk to them in parable, but to you, I talk openly. This is what I was talking about. Those are the aspects of communication, so they could understand him and know what exactly he was. The third C is consistency. Don't go up and down if you want to lead. With all the style, there must be consistency. Let somebody see the flow or the range of how the thing had gone. Not today he fall, tomorrow he wake up, today he does this. There must be that consistency in leadership. Number 4C is collaboration. Let's collaborate, let's work together. And after that is connection. You know, in this life, in leadership, there's need for connections. You may not know that person, but you may know a person that know that person, who know the person that can give you what you are looking for. So if you say, I'm a leader, you are the whole world by yourself, you can make it. So there is that sea of connection. As we get ourselves connected, we see things go on. As we are in this program, somebody among us here can connect us to somewhere. The other person can say, I know the other person. As some of us come here, it is through connection that makes that to work. And the last C of leadership is called commitments. When you are committed and you are connected with C, it will actually work the way it ought to be. And I want really to summarize by saying that if we want to talk about the distinct leadership style, I repeat again, if we go by order, it is number 1, servant leadership. Number 2, democratic leadership. Number 3, autocratic leadership. Number 4, transformational leadership. Number 5, transactional leadership. And number 6, the laissez-faire leadership. Number 7, the charismatic leadership. You know, there is need for charismatic. You bring in life. It is not in the old slow way. You know, there was a time in the church, everybody would be going slow, gently. All the children, they will go like that. But now, charismatic will be, yeah. All those things go together. That make me admire Nehemiah. And also the Ezra chapter 2. The Bible says when the foundation of the temple was laid, the young people were rejoicing, charismatic. They were rejoicing. But the old men and the priests, they were crying because what they see or what they saw before is not what they are saying now. There must be that aspect of charismatic. Then the bureaucratic. is also another one. And then the last one there is perceptive leadership. When we continue in this, we'll see that it will really help us. I conclude by saying that every leader must be authentic. Be authentic. Number two, must develop a curiosity of knowing what to do and getting what you want. People don't want theory again. People want practical. And so when we are curious of what it is on. There is another one I say about analytic prowess. There should be an analytical performance. You analyze issue. You sit down and bring in accounting. We talk about reconciliation table. Let's look at what is going on. In other meetings, we say committee, and we sit down together. How did you carry on this? How did you carry on this? And then we can do analysis. The other one we say is empathy. Let's feel if it were me, the way I treat the other person, is it okay? Empathical relationship is majorly important. And we talk about adaptability. Let's begin to adapt. There are new systems that suggestion can be made, and then we can adapt that to what we are doing. There's also the creativity in such of what we are doing. Let's be creative as leaders, and people will never fail to miss you. We talk about resilience. These are the things I want to encourage us, that if we are to do the work and see the work done in all that we are saying, some people summarize leadership into 4. They talk about autocratic. They talk about democratic. They talk about the laissez-faire. And they talk about the charismatic. Anyone that is going to help you, you can do that. Let me now insist, so that if there is any question, I can answer. There's more to be talked about leadership and the bringing in of our young ones to come to the position that we are. Thank you very much.
Very interesting. So you can agree with me that it's so good for many speakers to speak on one topic and also go in their own direction. And you will definitely learn from each speaker. That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Reverend Professor Akpabio, my papa from Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir, for for what you've really delivered to us this morning. And because Papa will be going very shortly, I want you to quickly ask your question. Please ask your question as quick as possible, because you will be going to another conference. You know, Papa is very busy. He's a professor and he's also a pastor, a reverend, and a speaker and a trainer. So please ask your question as soon as possible. Right. Dr. Samina, you want to ask a question quickly?
I want to repeat the name: democratic, transactional, charismatic, bureaucratic, and spiritual leaders, political leaders. Name them again: democratic, transactional, charismatic, bureaucratic, and other name.
I'll say that that we have the second aspect. When I was talking about the coaching, the visionary, let me go to the other one that you are saying. We talked about autocratic, democratic, transformational, transactional, laissez-faire, and bureaucratic. Then the last one I mentioned there was pace-setting leadership, which I summarize that in all. Some people talk about these 4: autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, and charismatic.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Any other question, please? Ambassador Professor Mercy?
Yes,
is it possible to open your camera?
No, please.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm sorry. I want to say thank you very much, Professor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
can I go?
continue. Yes, please
Okay.
continue.
I want to say thank you very much, Professor Akpabio, for your presentation. I really took time to listen and I enjoyed it. I took time to listen to the first speaker as well. But there's this nagging question that has been going on since people have been talking about leadership style. Now, for us to say this person is a seasoned leader or a standard leader, do you think it is right or good enough for somebody to say, I'm a democratic leader, I'm a laissez-faire leader, I'm a transactional leader or a transformational leader or so on, or a coaching leader? Don't you think that the seasoned leader should be one that has been able to bring about, picking from these various leadership, bringing about, a combination to form one, his personality, and two, the action itself, which is the leadership? Is that not, can that be the person that can be called a seasoned or standard leader? Or must be the leader be described specifically to be a laissez-faire, a democratic, a transactional, a this and that? I don't know if you got my question.
Got it very well. Now, what happened is anybody that say I'm a transactional leader, he doesn't even know leadership. Leadership is a combination of characteristics that makes it what it is. Like as I'm talking now, I am Akpabio. I can teach marriage. I can talk about theology. I can talk about leadership. That does not make me a leadership teacher. So what you are saying is actually what we say. That this is to make a leader to know that even if you are not this, but this is what you must. That sometimes somebody might not understand the democratic, but only deal with transactional or bureaucratic. But as we study now, what is important now is to learn the other side of it, because we have different faces around us. There is somebody who can be able to do this in well. Not a transactional leader or a coaching leader. After all, a coach is a leader. A coach sometimes can transact. A coach can do other things. So what we are saying is that a perfect, complete leader must be a combination of more factors to make it what it should be. Look at human body. The blood is there, water is there, ingredients in life is there, and those things make us who we are. So I cannot say my body is only water. My body is only blood. So a leader must actually have this area in order to make it what it should be. That's why when I read from the book I've written, I say when we talk about a leader, there are 25 things that actually show this person is a leader. Ability to be able to make sure that you can meet up. If you try this, it doesn't work, you try the other one. And so why we talk about the style is so that we may know that if this one doesn't work here, it can work in the other place. So a leader must know all this. They know the time to apply them perfectly. So you're okay.
Thank you very much. I think I agree with you in total. Abeg, I have a second question, very fast. Somebody asked this question some time ago, not long ago. Now, we've been talking of leadership. Can we say somebody to be actually a leader? There is what we call the leader is born. That is, there is a trait of inherent trait in that person. Somebody is born a leader, even though he might grow, he might develop, he might go to conferences and listen and develop. But can we say a leader is one that has inherent characteristics of leadership?
Yes, that is one of the things and the way some people misunderstand leadership and calling, especially in the ministry, because many of us are ministers here. They will believe in Jeremiah. Before I formed thee, I knew you, and I ordained you to be a prophet. But they forget the word. The Bible said now. This day have I begotten you. This day, even Jesus, the Bible says, this day have I begotten you. But he has existed. So when we look at that, even everybody is a leader. Because in our family, the mother is a leader in the home. If she doesn't lead anything, lead the children, lead the kitchen. The man is a leader. If there is nothing, he lead the wife and the children. So everybody has a potential of leadership capability within. But if it is to be an outstanding leadership of leading beyond our family, there's need for training. And that's why the Bible says, study to show yourself approved, a workman that need not be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. So there is nothing like born leader. They may have the capability or the capacity of leading, but there are some intricacies that they need to study in order to know. Even the leadership as ministers of the gospel. You realize somebody say, I was called by God myself. I am an anointed call from my mother's womb. Even if you were called from your mother's womb, you were sent to a place that you never operated before. So there must be a leading, a studying, and understanding so that we can apply and become more richer. So if anybody is a born leader and he claims he's a born leader, I will tell the person, go and learn more so that you can do more. But if you are sticking with what you know and what you feel you know, there are others who are able to know better than what you know. And nobody is a monopoly of knowledge. So it is very clear that there are some who have the potential leadership. There's one thing, one day I was telling somebody that we talk about incidental leadership. You go to a roundabout or a junction, there is no traffic lights, and the road is jam-packed. This one come here, this one come here. The road is that even if a madman stand in the middle and say, all of you stop, this one come, go, everybody will follow. That is a situational leader. Is there. When you lead and finish and people are clear, they don't remember it was a madman who was leading them. But the madman should be trained so that they can know better on what it is. So it is clear that everybody have the capability of leading, but there must be a training to add more knowledge to what they know to become what they ought to know.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much, Reverend Professor Anek Akpabio. The time is up now because you need to move on. Even though there is a last question, but I'm not too sure you'll be able to answer that question because of your time.
I have 3 minutes. Can he ask?
Okay, the question is, what are the 5 qualities of a good leader?
The 5 qualities I had mentioned before.
Yeah.
That in my book, I mentioned that there are some qualities of a good leader, and if he doesn't do that, whether I will put it on the...
Yes,
okay.
please.
The qualities of a good leader, I mentioned, like, let me just go through. Number 1, he must have a shepherd heart.
Okay.
Number 2, he must have a driving concern for growth. Number 3, I say he must have a burning desire to see the growth of the work and the success in the people. Number 4, we say he must have a driving force to work persistently. Number 5, we say he must have a concrete understanding of life and situation. The next one, he must build on integrity and spiritual dynamism. The next one is he must see the need of dependency on prayers, and the rest, and the rest, and the rest of them.
Thank you so much, sir. You've done it perfectly. And fortunately, the person that asked the questions, I keep pleading that we need to answer his question. He has a little problem with his connection. So I believe that he will play the video later to get all the necessary information. So I want to say on behalf of Y.Y.C.I International, thank you so much, sir, Reverend Professor Anefok Akpabio. And Professor Akpabio is also one of our Y.Y.C.I international patron and also the advisory board or advisory board member. So thank you, sir, for joining us today and teaching us on this great information on leadership style in business. We
Thank you
wish
very
you all
much.
the best and
Very
have a wonderful day, especially in your conference. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we need to move on quickly. Thank you so much, Dr. Samina, for joining us today. Thank you so much, Ambassador Mercy Oben. Thank you so much, Captain Ayeri. I don't know what is happening with your connection today because I don't see you really staying longer. That's what I noticed. Captain Ayeri, Maiden, and also Dr. Lonson. There must be something wrong with your connection because all what I see is in and out, but you can watch the video later. Okay, thank you so much. And now we need to move on. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Cameron, for joining us. Thank you so much, Honorable John Ogo, for joining us. Thank you so much, Ambassador Tolbola Tito, and for your contribution. I know you are working, but we really appreciate your time as well.